statement and say our say in relation to what have been said. But the matter has been largely publicized and in all major media houses and reported widely, and to a point where it impugns one's credibility, and at the same time seeks to say that something has actually happened when there is nothing. So it's important that in responding to this, we have decided to open a case and also take other steps legally. So I'm here with my legal team as well as the spokesperson of the ANC.
Are you opening up this case in your personal capacity or in your capacity as Secretary General of the African National Congress? Because he did name you as a top honcho at Luthuli House, the SG.
Well, I'm opening it as a SG top honcho at Luthuli House, quote unquote Sabelo. And then I'm Secretary General of the ANC. And then these men have said that I've solicited a bribe from him. According to what he said, I think we'll give a proper interpretation of that after we opened the case.
Have you had prior engagements with the specific businessman?
I've never had any prior specific engagement with him. Never have I talked to anybody since I came into office about any UIF deal. I know nothing about this. I was waken up by people when this man was on TV, just throwing my name and saying that the SG did this and that and that. I know Mthunzi. I mean, to a point where if he says, like he said, he's a member of the ANC, no way, he's Luthuli House, I'm every day there. He has never come to me to say that there is something that is happening in your name and the name of the ANC. He's never said that to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Sorry?
Do you know Mthunzi?
Mthunzi, I know him as a citizen of this country, and I know him as a person that I know has got nothing to do with interpersonal relationship or friendship. I know him like I know many other people in South Africa.
The SG is going to make a full statement once he has laid charges. I think we should offer him that opportunity to do so. And then you can follow up with other questions, and others will be ventilated later in the day. But if
have you had engagement with the other three proposed money solicitors?
No, I've not engaged with them. I think it is upon them to decide what they want to do. I've not had any engagement with them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, to decide the to open up that particular case of a criminal injuria against Mthunzi Mdwaba, who is a businessman who has named him in saying that he was soliciting a 500 million rand bribe alongside the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Higher Education and Training, who's also in the National Chairperson of the South African Party, and also Chula Sifumisi, who is the Minister of Labour and Unemployment within the country. In that 5 billion rand, UIF attended Fikile Mbalula saying that he does know Mthunzi, but he has not had any prior engagements with him around any tenders within the Department of Labour, and specifically to the issues pertaining to UIF, as we also pay our bills with these acts.
He says that he is laying this as in his capacity as the Secretary General, not in his own personal capacity. He also has indicated that he hasn't spoken to
these acts.
He says that he is laying this as in his capacity as the Secretary General, not in his own personal capacity. He also
Now it's fine. Anyway.
One, two, 1, 2. Kwaziga Martin Kosi. Kwaziga Martin Kosi.
when I'm close to this, because he's also on Sennheiser, but our frequencies are not the same. National anthem and all, yeah.
us give you.
So, next we're going to do a quick roster. We are going to explain a lot of other details at one stage on the agenda. So it's going to be very small. Don't do it for me.
You know me, I'm very disciplined. Disciplined kid on the disciplined kid.
So the SG is going to read out the statement that puts the context and perspective to this. And then we'll just take up very quick questions.
See, I'm coming close to you. It's fine all along.
It's going to be fine.
Holding the mics in such a way that I sit here.
So are we clear, guys?
Oh, sorry, my brother. Sorry.
Yes, Papa. Yes.
Mama lasemke.
This is my spot here. You must go stand. No, go stand. That's where.
Then I'm going to be in your shop.
No. By on the side. Yeah, by the corner by the white wall.
Who's calling me?
Yeah, just go stand over there. No, I'm joking. Come this side. Let's see how.
Yeah, Bamba.
ANC.
Oh, actually.
Yasinda lena ngeke alungu umuntu.
Alsindi lembathile.
Eh?
Awubambi imic.
Hayi ngishifuna ukubanjwa umuntu oyedwa le. Yona yodwa nje kuphela.
Samkele.
So who's gonna hold this text?
You can hold it. You can come in. But that means I was locally on.
Yeah,
If it's you, then bamba imic.
Under for SG.
yeah, no?
Squat.
Yeah, squatting is heavy,
Mina yazi benga-advise ukuthi ushaye phansi ngedwa ufake ama-saving parts. Uzokwazi ukubamba umeli.
Uzobamba nale phone.
Ngingilunge mfethu.
Incane ngizoyibeka la.
Okay, if you make a piece.
As soon as he walks out.
Mini balance.
Le nama isabambi kahle yazi. Ama comfortable fast like to jump.
Keep it. Oh, nice. You can laugh. Oh, sure.
Ngoba ngiyazi uma engayiyakazisa ngizombamba.
I'm like a civil.
Don't spoon me.
I don't have a drum.
Thank you.
Joining members of the media. Thank you very much, members of the media. SG will make a statement.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the media. The spokesperson of the ANC, Comrade Mahlengi, and my legal representative with me here today. Today, on the 9th of November, I have exercised my constitutional right to human dignity. Mr. Mthunzi Mdwaba was reportedly under investigation by the Department of Labor and Employment for attempting to redirect funds of the South Africans put there by hard-working South Africans to his own private company. Instead of addressing the allegations against him, Mthunzi Mdwaba elected to mount a slanderous campaign against ministers and myself, and by extension the oldest liberation movement in Africa, the African National Congress. Owing to my elected position and allegations against me impugns not just my family name, but the immediate institution I am associated with, and that is the African National Congress. In the South African political parlance, it has become too easy to soil one another, and particularly the ANC, with the corruption allegations. If individuals are corrupt, or it is alleged that they are corrupt, that has got absolutely nothing to do with the African National Congress. It is those individuals who must account for their alleged corrupt activities. Mthunzi Mdwaba makes spurious allegations against the leadership of government and the ANC on spurious allegations of corruption. Corruption is a serious problem that afflicts our nation and impacts negatively. It eats away at the very important gains of democracy. It defers the dreams of the nation, black and white. I have opened a case of crimen injuria and defeating the ends of justice against Mr. Mdwaba today because I want to make a clear statement on behalf of my family and the African National Congress. Let us encourage those with evidence of corruption to come forward, and when they do so, they must be protected. But equally, let us not tolerate the generalization of the crime that is corruption to a point where it can be used as slander, which has no physical consequences but erodes the dignity of another. I've never supported corrupt activities. In fact, I dare say I'm the first person to stand up in the National Executive Committee meeting of the ANC and point out that we have a Gupta problem. My name will not be associated with corruption. Renewal demands of us to take these allegations seriously to a point where we must not tolerate attempts to make light of corruption. It is in my considered view, and I remain steadfast, in that my image and my dignity as a human being has been dented by these reckless and unfounded utterances by Mthunzi Mdwaba, which I categorically deny. It is further my view that this distasteful depiction violated my individual right to dignity as contained in the Constitution of our country. As a law-abiding citizen of our country, having unconditional trust in our justice system and our law enforcement agencies, accompanied by my lawyers, came to the Sandton Police Station to lay a charge of crimen injuria, defeating the ends of justice, as well as contravention of Section 34, subsection 4 of PRECA, Prevention and Combating of Criminal Activities Act. The law requires and compels any person who holds a position of power, who knows or reasonably to have known or suspected that any other person has committed an offense of corruption in terms of sections 3 to 16 or 20 to 21 of Prevention and Combating of Criminal Activities Act, or theft, fraud, extortion, forgery, or uttering of a forged document involving an amount of 100,000 rand or more, must report such knowledge or suspicion, or cause such knowledge or suspicion to be reported to DPCI, Section 34, subsection 2 of the PRECA provides that any person who fails to report such corrupt activities is guilty of a criminal offense with a potential custodial sentence. I have this morning instructed my lawyers to send a letter of demand to Mr. Mthunzi Mdwaba. Should he fail to retract all his malicious and defamatory statements about me, my legal team will approach our courts to compel him and seek appropriate relief, on top of the case of crimen injuria that I've opened here in this police station. Our society, our families, our children should not be subjected to acrimonious, malicious and reckless statements, causing irreparable emotional and psychological harm, subjecting me to be tried and judged by the public courts. I reject with all the contempt it deserves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SG. We're going to take a round of hands, colleagues. Newsroom.
Thank you so much, Mahlengi. Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. This is not the first time, SG, that an individual has come out and claimed some criminal offenses against senior members of the ANC. We know that the former CEO of Eskom, Andre Durator, also did the same about senior officials within the ANC apparently being involved in the looting of Eskom. And then now we have this from Mdwaba. What does this do to the image of the ANC, and is there really any renewal within the ANC?
There is a renewal in the ANC. Let me explain that. Should any one of the people mentioned here have been brought before the court of law or arrested or held accountable by the state, the ANC will take action. And action to an extent that those individuals must actually step aside. Andre de Ruyter made these allegations and we challenged him. And he left the country somewhere between Germany and the United States. And we have instituted legal action to this effect against Andre de Ruyter. And a citation order was granted to us by the Pretoria High Court, of which we have sent papers to him through our embassy in Germany. But he is nomadic. He moved from Germany and then to the United States of America. So we have challenged him both in public and in terms of the law process in our country. to basically point out, including the ministers who he alleged are involved in corruption within ESCOM. He did not do that. Even when he was called by Parliament, he did not do that. And then he just threw the name of the ANC and that the ANC is involved in this. The ANC is not involved in any corruption. So PRECA protects individuals who report corruption, but it equally calls upon those in the position of authority to report any corruption, forgery, extortion, bribery to law enforcement. The difference between what the writer said and Mthunzi is saying, Mthunzi is reacting to him being chased by the Department of Labor about this deal, grand deal of UIF 5 billion rand that he wants to be transferred for him to do business in whatever way he has to. Now, that is between him and the Department of Labor. And Department of Labor have instituted an inquiry, forensic and all of that, and came to a conclusion that this is just not a business deal. And then it was actually rejected. So in this particular instance, names have been thrown, and there is no cause of action against those people, but spurious allegations are then made against individuals, including the Secretary General of the ANC. And then it is simply said, it's business as usual. No, it is said he gave a blessing to this. And then he will also be part of this 10%. It ends there, full stop. Why are you not opening a case in a police station or report this matter? No, I won't do it. Even my brother is a policeman. I don't trust the system. We have a system. We have a law. This is not a banana republic. If Mthunzi lays a charge from the onset, this matter happened, according to him, 6 months ago, a year ago, and then he will be protected by the law as it is required by PRECA to actually do so. He has not done that. So, if he went through that avenue and he says he's a member of the ANC, if he says he's a member of the ANC and then he reported the matter to Luthuli House, if I'm affected to any other official, including the president, that would have been a different case. That your SG is at Luthuli House, is not busy with party work, is busy with transactions and deals. The organization will take steps about that. But it's not done. You simply say it's a hearsay, it is said. And what is said, it remains the truth and engraved in the minds of the people as the truth. Like you say, it dents the image of the ANC and then also us as individuals. That we are involved in some shenanigans of bribery against innocent South African citizens like Mthunzi Mdwaba. I've got nothing to do with Mdwaba. I know him from far. I've got no business dealing with him. Neither his people or whoever that he claims would have said these things and all of that. I know nothing. I know nothing about this from where I'm seated. So I have to stand up. Under normal circumstances, things like this, we leave them and then we issue a statement, but it remains. I'm here today. I've opened the case. And then I am also challenging him in terms of the law. If it's not, we will meet in court. And that's what I'm determined to do, to deal with these particular allegations. And that is what is important and what I'm entitled to in terms of what is guaranteed by the Constitution to us as citizens.
Thank you.
How much South Africans believe that you are genuine with this exercise and not bullying the man into silence, especially considering that you famously laid charges against Mthunzi Mdwaba for having implicated you in the leaking of state secrets during lockdown, and there was no ever public follow-up on that?
No, you are wrong. I came here to open a case against Mthunzi Mdwaba. It's in court. I appeared once together with Somizi. Again, make your research. I'm not a person who just stand up for nothing. That matter is before the court. We appeared in court. It's still pending. I appeared in court. Somizi appeared. You didn't come. Today you are alleging that nothing happened. It was frivolous. It was anything. I had to stand up because as much as Somizi said that in jest and all of that, but it impacted on my image that I could have leaked state secrets and all of that. I have taken an oath, like all ministers have taken an oath. This guy, Mthunzi Mdwaba, is even making allegations about discussions of cabinet. Discussions of cabinet are a secret. That even South Africans are not, even you as the media, to access documents of cabinet, you have to go to court or somehow. They are inaccessible and protected by the law. Here comes a guy who is a businessman alleging that he's got private to internal decisions of cabinet as it relates to himself. And then he alleges that Minister A, B, C, D have done something. State security. State security, where is it? As the custodian and the defender of the secrets of the state, to ask Mthunzi Mdwaba, who gave you this, so that those individuals can be guillotined from our cabinet, because they are undermining the law. If anything of those things actually happen, I wouldn't be here. I didn't talk about Mdwaba. Many things have happened to me. I never called you to stop people from investigating me. AfriForum went to a police station, opened a case. Have I ever called a press conference? No. Or have I ever gone to a police station? No. I am here because a man went to a national television and said that I am part of a group of people who have solicited a bribe from him. By extension, through third parties. That's what he said. He didn't say it under. Then what do I do as a citizen? There is a law in this country. I come to a police station, I open a case, crimen, injuria, and defeating the ends of justice. If he have known about these things, why didn't he? I'm not bullying him. He said in that broadcast that when he was asked by the presenter, why are you not opening a case? He said he's got no trust. His brother, in fact, is a policeman. He's got no trust in the justice system of this country. That's what he said. Now, if he's a genuine person, and then he did not react because he was being investigated, and these things were reported by the media about the fact that there is a UIF fraudulent deal allegedly that is being undertaken by Mdwaba, when was he going to react? I've got no business with Mdwaba and his fights with Tulas as a minister. I've got no business to do with that. Where do I come in? We just come from an era of state capture. If he is so eloquently putting it that we come from this era and is alive to it, why didn't he stand up and say, SG or the law? Here they repeat it on me. I've got a genuine deal. They are now coming in and therefore stopping my deal for the following reasons. How will it help run into the media because we have been stopped by the department? As the ANC, Minister Ngesi is going to give us a report on Monday on this UIF matter. It has been on our agenda and we're told that it's out of the country. I tabled that matter as the SG on the agenda of the NWC. How can the perpetrator of a corrupt deal table a matter of corruption on the agenda of the ruling party, knowing very well that I'm part of this? But nonetheless, how will South Africans believe us? South Africans believe us by our deeds. They don't believe us by theorizing, philosophizing, and all of that. South Africans would have asked Mr. Mbalula when Mthunzi Mdwaba went to Newsroom Africa and alleged you did the following things, either by years or whatever. What did you do as a Secretary General of the ANC? I stand for the ANC. I stood for the ANC when the Reiter said that ANC people are corrupt. if he brings them and he uses PREGA to deal with those issues, those matters will be brought to book. Smearing people and leaving them like that with the hope that society will believe it because it is the ANC. We come from the era of state capture. It will stay like that. That's not justice, my brother. That's not justice. And that's not what we need to accept as a norm, as a way of living. We need to stand up, expose corruption. Those who expose corruption must be defended. Let's stop paying lip service to this thing. Those who are also implicated in corrupt activities and then want to use it to defend themselves, they must actually be taken on. And that is what our Constitution enjoins us to do as private citizens, as law people. Our Constitution says that we went further in this fight against corruption to have laws like PREGA. PREGA says me and you, if Mahlengi comes to you and bribe you, you can approach anybody and thereafter say, I have done the following steps in terms of law, and then nothing happened. He doesn't say that. He says, I've got no trust. There's the man who's the chairman of the board. Very much eloquent, well-educated, even giving accolades of the best businessmen and all of that. He's then oblivious to the law and the rights of people and individuals and just goes and say things because who's Mbalula? I'm prepared even to sell my socks to defend my integrity because that's the only thing I've got. Because I've got nothing. That's the only thing I've got. I know Mthunzi Mdwaba. I won't deny I know him. He's not my friend. He's not my business friend. He knows me. I've never had undercarpet dealings with him anywhere. And I'm saying it here in public. Never. And when I was Minister of Sports, he was a health fanatic who was cycling, doing all of those things. And then he used to give me tips about cycling because I was cycling myself. I've never had any dealings with him. Why will I send third parties to anyone, for that matter, to do this on my behalf and all of that? Names of people get dropped every day. Sitting in that Luthuli house, probably people come saying, Mbalula said this and that. And then if you don't approach me, and he says maybe, afterthought that I talked to the SG and then I came to a conclusion, he's party to this. He says he's a member of the ANC. There is Luthuli house. I stay there, I'm not absent. I go and wake up and go to Luthuli house. I've got a phone. I've got everything. I'm accessible. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. I am on Google, I'm everywhere. So you can't get me. You can DM me, Instagram, you can find me. And say that, SG, there is this thing, I'm being stopped from doing this. I will then stand up to it. If I don't, then judge me. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, SG. I take it, members of the media, that that is it. I don't see a new hand. Oh, there's Samkelo.
SG, in your capacity as Secretary General, what's the ANC standpoint on the Israeli embassy? Should the ambassador of Israel be booted out of the country? Secondly, we are told that the matter of Nomusa Dubengube, the Premier of KZN, and also Mthombe, you've been asked by the ANC officials to handle that particular matter. Ntolo has written to you complaining about two centers of power, saying Duma must now take over as the Premier of the province. What's the ANC standpoint? Thank you.
The ANC standpoint first with regard to Natal and the public spats and between structures, we stand here as the African National Congress to call order, first and foremost. We are the same structure. There is no reason why the Women's League wouldn't call the ANC to order within its ranks if they feel that the chairperson of the ANC is overstepping and there is an overreach, is not giving the premier space. The ANC Women's League is not a structure of a public nature where in which they've got no access to the ANC. First and foremost, that act on its own, genuine as it might be, it gives an impression that the ANC is not organized. The ANC is disorganized, and even if you've got access to the organizations, Busiso Duma is the chairperson of KwaZulu-Natal, of the ANC. And the Women's League is a structure of the ANC. In the last NEC, we resolved that public spats must stop. And KZN is no exception. And we are going to engage with the comrades of KZN, from the secretary to the Women's League and everybody, and call order. There must be order in the organization. We must be single-minded on what we want to achieve. If Mbalula has got a problem at Luthuli House, there is a structure in the organization. NWC, NEC, everybody, all of us, we are accountable to complain and say that, SG, we don't like what we see with the chairperson and all of that doing the following. If the ANC structure, not an NGO, complains about its own chairperson in the province, in public, what message are you sending? You are telling the public that you are not a party to be respected. You've got no channels of communication. There is disorder, there is anarchy. And anarchy is the highest state of disorder. Meaning everyone can just stand up and all of that. We have always emphasized that comrades of the ANC must understand the moment, the space and time we are in. The movement is under attack. It's under attack. And if they see things that they think that undermine the integrity and the standing of ANC public representatives, like it has been talked about, that Duma does not give the premier space and all of that, those issues we must address them internally. If people and society makes that impression about us, the ANC must close the doors and correct itself and not become of the complaining public. The Women's League is part of our structure. That's why. So we are engaging with KZN. We will call order to all our structures irrespective, not to argue among themselves about the matter that belongs to them. Sboniso must explain himself if there is a need to explain himself. The Premier must explain himself. From where we are seated, we've got no impression or report. We have visited KZN that there is a fight between the Premier and the chairperson of the province. As the Secretary General, I tabled a report on behalf of the NWC, and I said, comrades of KZN, there is an impression that the Premier is not given space enough to do a job, and some of you undermine her. They rejected that, including the Premier. What kind of organization are we? Renewal and ethical conduct means that we must be truthful to ourselves. When we have been there as an organization to address matters, our own structure told us that there is no problem. And we have seen that there is no problem between Duma and the Premier. So let's not act about moments of excitement. Elizabeth is there, we have won the World Cup. Everybody wanted to touch that, even myself. Whether Premier is there, I would have touched the World Cup, undermined protocol. You could have seen how people behaved in East London. Women jumping on Kolisi, kissing him at random. It's excitement, it's happiness. We were all happy. And the players drinking from the cup itself. Namben funusela kula cup. Yes, Springboks, I still want to have a drink there to feel it. And so on. We are happy for our boys. They've done our country proud. Everyone wants to be there. Now we are diverting with useless things. Who are supposed to hold? I mean, for both of them, Elizabeth was taller than them. If Kolisi was there, it would have been better. So everybody. So we divert the whole nation. I mean, everybody's happy. Our country's happiness index has increased. Our boys have done us proud. They've brought hope where there's been hopelessness. We languish in load shedding. We've got crime. We've got everything but once. We don't even greet each other as black and white. But for once, we're in a stadium in France. We're in the streets as a nation through the Springboks. Why shouldn't we celebrate that as a nation? This is our pride. The ANC have always understood that the Springboks unite us in understanding that we are stronger in our diversity. But on a daily basis, on political basis, we see ourselves as enemies, or as erstwhile, enemies which we are not supposed to. We are a nation. First and foremost, we belong to this country. Even if we differ politically, the moment like the Springbok belong to all of us does not belong to a single political party. That is why I've never understood people who want to promote an argument useless also. What was our president doing then? Ramaphosa is the president of the country. He was representing me and you, home and abroad. When he was there in that platform, he was standing for us. Whether we don't like him, we differ with him politically and all of that, that moment is the moment of South Africa. Our national anthem, our flag was flying high. And nobody else could have stood for this nation on our behalf at that podium other than our president. So we must never allow divisive characters who want to be popular for a minute out of nothing to divert our forward march of being united as a nation. We've got many challenges. We know that the Springboks, underneath that victory, there's a lot of challenges. The players themselves talk about it. What was the last question?
Israel.
We are clear about Israel. We have said that our government must do everything in its power to ensure that we make a statement, including the possibility of demarching the ambassador of Israel and to also withdraw our diplomats from Israel. All of those things are being implemented as we speak. We are very happy about that. This coming Saturday in Cape Town, we will join thousands of South Africans in solidarity with the Palestinians. We stand for Palestine because Palestine is a nation, and the Palestinians are a nation that is oppressed. And we subscribe to the two-state solution. There is no state there. When you throw bombs against civilians and you say you're fighting Hamas against innocent civilians, Hamas does not have a state in Gaza and Palestine. There's no state there. You've got innocent people, children who have been bombed on a daily basis. Self-determination of the Palestinians to us as the ANC is non-negotiable. From Mandela to Ramaphosa. And by saying so, we are not against the Jews. There are Jews in the ANC, like Ronnie Kasrils, who have stood with us in the plight of the Palestinians. There are Jews in this country who see a genocide like we see it. What's happening there is not war, it's a genocide. It's a genocide. It's a total annihilation of a nation. And we as South Africans and this country, we are taking necessary steps to be on the side of justice. And that is what we want for the Palestinians. The ANC will join everyone on the side of the Palestinians this Saturday in Cape Town, like we started ourselves and invited everyone. We will not stop up until Palestine is free.
So are you saying the ambassador must be expelled from the country?
The ambassador of Israel, we have said it, must be withdrawn from South Africa. And government on its own will take steps that it has to take. As a party, we are for that, to show our support for Palestine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members of the media. See each other later today. Check the ANC Media Advisory, where we will ventilate some of these issues that the SG has spoken about and other issues in the environment. But thank you very much for coming through. Thank you.
Siyabulela, siyabonga. Ukuthi nifike ngesikhathi.